Good morning and welcome. I'm very excited to be with you this morning and share my research, physical education, class climate, and adolescent girls' physical activity, an explanatory mixed method study. The purpose of this research was to examine the impact of developing an alternative physical education program that I will refer to as APEP or alternative PE that was non-traditional and non-competitive and that encouraged and supported physical activity for middle school girls. There were two aims for this study. One was to develop a non-traditional physical education curriculum specifically for middle school girls, and aim two, again for middle school girls, was to increase physical activity participation and enjoyment in physical education class. The methods for this study: student recruitment. I worked with two 7th grade co-educational health and physical education classes, and due to a prior working relationship with the specialist, who in talking with her about my research and what I wanted to do, very quickly identified this school as one that had already reached out to her in hopes of improving their PE program. So the principal had asked this specialist for some extra support for the school, as well as a PE teacher, the one that I actually worked with. She had recently switched over from elementary to middle school and feeling a little overwhelmed, and had asked for some ideas of lessons or ways to improve her practice. So this really was the perfect match for the work that I wanted to do and the teacher and the principal as they hoped to improve the PE program at that school. The program itself was developed on theories such as the self-determination theory, the achievement goal theory, and the fun integration theory. So these social cognitive theories that look at motivation and physical activity, participation in physical activity, and also based on my own prior teaching experience at the middle school, working with adolescent females and having done lessons similar to these and been successful in increasing participation for these girls. So feeling as if I've got the theories to support it, the experience of actually having taught lessons like this, and now putting it all together and tracking and measuring each of those and seeing how successful it would be. The intent was to start this program in September, have it finished in November, running over about a 3.5-month time period. For professional development, I worked with the PE teacher 2 days prior to the beginning of the school year, sharing with her this curriculum and the lesson ideas, talking with her about logistics, the teaching space, the students that would be receiving this instruction, helping her to feel more confident. And then once the program got started, I was there every Monday morning during her planning period to work with her. So week by week, looking at what was going to be taught that week. Did she feel comfortable? Were there things that she still needed some extra support with? If the calendar changed, which it did a lot, how we would still be able to accommodate and still be successful at implementing this program. And then on Thursdays and Fridays, I was actually in the building teaching the class to the students. So she taught Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I taught Thursday and Friday. And then we had 2 days of professional time together outside of the building. So as a result of funding received from UNCG, we were able to get a substitute for her for 2 days and spend some time talking about what was working, things that we needed to change, and then doing some co-planning towards the end to have her be more involved in some of the lessons that were going to be taught, still staying in line with the main themes. So measures and data collection. All students, the boys and the girls, took the Perceived Locus of Causality questionnaire, which aims at measuring motivation to participate in PE. All of the students wore pedometers, the boys and the girls. Everybody was assigned to a pedometer that measured steps, activity time, and moderate to vigorous physical activity, which I will refer to as MVPA. And at the end of each PE class, their data was downloaded into their own student file. Students also wore heart rate monitors on 6 of the days, and those were really used to help teach students about measuring their physical activity exertion rates compared to how hard they thought they were working with, and then comparing that again to the physical activity tracker data. Students were asked to journal at the end of every PE class. They were asked 3 questions. 1, how much did you enjoy PE? How do you feel like you participated? And then what did they enjoy the most about PE for the day? At the conclusion of the program, I conducted 4 small group interviews with the girls, and about 4 to 5 students in each group, and they were asked questions specifically about things they liked or didn't like about the program, things they liked or didn't like about PE, and then gave them an open space to just talk about PE in general, things that they felt like could be done to improve PE or to increase their likelihood of participating. I also interviewed the PE teacher at the end of this program, asked her some of the same questions as I did the girls, but then gave her the opportunity to talk about the impact of our time together, so the professional support that she received. And finally, I journaled after every day that I was at the school, and then after any time that the PE teacher and I had time working together. So for data analysis, I used an independent samples t-test for the survey results, as well as an independent samples t-test for the pedometer data, so looking at the moderate to vigorous physical activity time between girls and boys by activity. So looking at results for the survey that the students took, we can see that one area of significance is that the boys are demonstrated a significantly higher percentage of extrinsic motivation. So this aligns nicely with some of the data I'm going to show you in a minute for more competitive activity. And the girls, although this doesn't appear as significant, we can see that they do characterize themselves as being more identified in the identified category for motivation. So when they reflect on the activity, and if they can feel like there's a level of importance or they can relate to it, meaning that that it's going to be a socially positive atmosphere, more cooperative, they're going to be more likely to want to participate in the activity. And looking at the physical activity data, I had 3 days of significance. So again, this is looking at the percent of total time in the moderate to vigorous zone between boys and girls and by activity. So I had 3 days of significance. The first day, day 2, was a non-program day of a competitive game of ultimate football, where the boys' percentage of MVPA was at 55.4 and the girls was only 47.3. So thinking back to their level of motivation, where they're more extrinsically motivated to participate, this really kind of complements that data. The other 2 days that were significant are for the girls, and they had a significantly higher rate of participation on a day of fun, and then another day where it was a minute to win it activity, and this day was really all about cooperation and working together to achieve tasks. So thinking again about that, the perceived locus of causality questionnaire, looking at the actual physical activity data, they kind of align nicely, showing that when it's a highly competitive environment, they're going to be less likely to want to participate. In PE, our goal is to achieve that 50% of total activity time at the MVPA range, and you can see for both the boys and the girls, we hit this on about 75% of the time. And looking at the girls, 2 of the 3 days that they did not achieve that 50%, one day was on the game of competitive football, and the other day was a day of fitness testing. So that really does make sense that they would not necessarily achieve that 50% MVPA time. So here we're going to look at the qualitative results. So out of the thematic analysis that I did and the code book that I created, there were 4 main themes. And the first theme is participation in physical activity during PE. And the girls said such things as, you gave us options, it was more fun, and I participated more than regular PE. The second theme, non-participation in physical activity during PE. The girls said, if we have one activity we have to do the whole time, we just really don't like that, and they just didn't want to participate. Theme 3, for ways to improve PE, they said that they liked going outside. They wanted to have choice, they wanted to be with their friends, and to have options. The fourth and final theme, professional support. The PE teacher, after the program, when I talked with her, she said that it was very helpful for us to have that time, and then also my time in the building was also extremely helpful. So that was a positive there for our working relationship. So here's an example of the code book, and you can see I'll start at the right and kind of move right to left. Examples taken from the interview data, the journal entries, and my journaling information that I had. And so from there, I read through all of that data, started highlighting keywords or phrases that were similar, developed the sub-themes, came up with the definitions for those, and then lumped them all together and was able to identify the 4 main themes that I represented or discussed with you in the previous slide. And so for this this first one under reasons for participating, it's SI2 RP1. So what that tells me is that's in student interview number 2, reasons for participating, in comment 1. So I can easily go back to that data set and find those specific comments. Conclusions about this program. I believe that this Alternative Physical Education Program is an evidence-based program that increases physical activity participation during physical education for middle school girls. And the other really good thing about this is it did not decrease the boys' participation. So the girls were at that 50% or higher over 75% of the time, and then the boys maintained that 50% level as well. And then the second thing is that providing professional learning throughout the program implementation was important and contributed to the success and the increased likelihood that this PE teacher will implement this program in the future. So impact on professional practice. In the near and immediate future, what my plan is that as I'm going to be working with this teacher in the spring during her biking unit, and during that time, she and I will meet along with the PE specialist and plan how she's going to implement this program in the next academic year, and set aside 3 days of professional learning. So one would be for us to set goals and expectations for her to help her get that big picture. The second meeting would be to reflect on her progress, provide her any other additional support that she may need if she needs to change some things around, have a safe place for her to talk that through. And the third meeting would be for us to plan how we can present this program and the study results to other teachers in the building, and then hopefully present this to the other teachers in the district that teach secondary PE. So showing her success and how she's implemented and moving this into other schools in the district. Thinking forward, I do plan on submitting presentation proposals to my state and national organizations for PE to share with other teachers this program outside of just this district and the success of this study, as well as in my, I do hope to submit manuscript submissions for either the Journal of Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance or Strategies to journals that are specific to physical education pedagogy. In my most recent work in developing the new PK through 12 Health and PE licensure program, I have included components of this into the outdoor education class, as well as infused it into curricular examples in the secondary methods of physical education course. So really given these students a strong foundation in this program, giving them the theoretical foundation of why this type of teaching is successful, and especially for the middle school girls. And then community engagement has always been very important to me, but this experience and the relationship that I've had with this teacher, the reciprocity, how I've grown, how she's grown, I want to continue my engaged scholarship. And so I am presenting, or hope to present, I'm going to submit the proposal for the engaged scholarship conference this coming fall, and hope to expand my network with other engaged scholars. In addition, I plan on having my methods course, secondary methods course, designated as service learning. So getting these students, after they've had the coursework, preparation of this program, getting them into the community, working with teachers that may already be teaching this. And again, it's going to be a mutually beneficial relationship because we're going to be working together to implement this program, having my pre-service teachers work with teachers that are teaching it, or if they're not, they can take something maybe new or different that the teachers aren't using and implement it into their practice. So I want to conclude with that and just thank my committee very much for their support throughout this entire journey, and now would like to entertain any questions you may have.